Today's BS report, we have positivity to talk about. Did the Oregon game do enough to move the needle for Brian Smith? Today's BS report. Let's go.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers and Locked On Portal, a crossover edition. We got Brian Smith here. Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. We are talking about big picture with Wisconsin today, the recruiting class, positivity from Eugene. We have the BS report. Brian, I think we got to start there. It's funny. You reached out to me after the Oregon game and you said, I have good things to say about Wisconsin. We need to talk. I think you said in the next 48 hours. Like, we need to talk
now. Look, I saw a lot of fight, man. Like, that defense came out there and played, even though the offense is struggling. And they gave Oregon's front everything that they could possibly want. I was like, wow. This is not expected. I thought this was going to be 38-7. And it wasn't. So that shows me the team, A, hasn't quit, and B, they're still throwing out some things that teams aren't prepared for because Oregon's offense just got blasted in the first half in critical moments. They still moved the ball some, but I don't know what you expected score-wise, but I didn't expect like a scoreless game as long as that was. And I didn't expect Oregon to even remotely look in the manner they did. Like, they looked completely fooled. And they couldn't move them off the line of scrimmage. So I get the whole offense is still struggling, but you're on like your third string quarterback. It just is what it is there. The fight and the defense, I was like, man, this is awesome. Congrats to Wisconsin.
You know, I the first play of the game, Oregon, quick onside kick to start the game. And I immediately felt like this is a disaster. And then that defense immediately 4-out. Yeah. Like that tells you right there. Your first point, I think, is there's been a lot of reports of what's the state of the locker room, or players still playing, or people. Bro, that defense, at least, man, they were playing inspired football. And let me get to a couple of these questions, because I said we're gonna have Brian on the show. I got a bunch of questions from the Discord, multiple questions in this vein. Does Brian Smith think Fickell gave himself maybe more leash, another season with that Oregon performance? Caroline also said something very similar. Did your views on Fickell not being the guy change at all after that Oregon performance? Multiple questions in this vein.
I mean, he still isn't the guy for what they want, but he's coaching hard. I mean, I don't know how to grade him on the offense because they've had every quarterback that's walked into the locker room go out with an injury pretty much. But defensively, they're doing what they can. Recruiting still leaves a lot to be desired, but it's kind of like chicken and the egg. But he's not the guy for what Wisconsin wants. They want 8 wins to be the bottom end. Right now, I don't know when they're going to win 8 wins in a season again the way they've won. So it's kind of hard for me to get behind Fickell, but it is what it is. I'm happy that he's still coaching hard. Some coaches would have mailed it in. Some would have, and he hasn't. And his staff hasn't. So that should be commended.
Let's talk offense for a second. And again, multiple questions here, but the quarterback play, Hunter Simmons, he finishes 7-21. He has a QBR on the year of 16.5. Brian, 16.5. He is last in the Big Ten in basically every metric you can find. This is the question that keeps coming up. Why is he still playing? Why isn't Carter Smith out there at this point? Why isn't Daniel Neal back out there? I don't expect you to be behind the scenes on that, but I think that the question people are asking behind the question is, should we look into these other players maybe not being out there?
I would guess that there's always the possibility of injury with one or both. That's first thing. The number one reason teams win and lose games is who is or who is not healthy. Secondarily, there may not be any need for somebody like Carter Smith if he's wanting to leave after this year. Why get hurt or why do anything? Just go somewhere else. I'm not sure about Danny. I would assume he's still banged up. But if not, I'm sure he's like, okay, why am I not playing? There could be some unhappy feelings about that. I mean, quarterback rooms, the guys get along, but there's only one guy that starts. So about half the quarterbacks in college football over the last 40 years have transferred. That's got to be something you look at too. I just don't know what the situation is, but one or both of them probably won't be there next year is my guess.
How much of that is on the coaching staff? And we had a question here from DD Baller. Would getting healthy and a top 20 quarterback fix this? Is there any quarterback that could come in and fix this Wisconsin issue this year?
Ty Simpson couldn't fix this. They can't block well enough. That's first problem, which is a horrific thing to say when we're discussing the Badgers, because if the O-line at Wisconsin's bad, it's not going to be a good year. So they're not terrible, but they're not consistent. And then the running back room has had some injuries and guys banged up and, played through it or whatever, but it's not a Wisconsin running back room. It's certainly not Jonathan Taylor back there. Saw him the other day for the Colts. Holy cow. Yeah, but he's awesome. A dude. I'm a Colts fan, so I like Jonathan Taylor a lot. But anyway, the point is still the same. They don't have the same guys on the offense, talent-wise. Football is the ultimate team sport. And let me put it this way. If we went back 40 years and Michael Jordan decided to go to Wisconsin to play football and you put him at receiver, he still wouldn't get the ball much because the quarterback's going to be laying on his butt. Like, I'm sure Michael Jordan could have transitioned to football real well. I don't think it would have been hard. But you got to have everybody working together. That stuff is hard. And, their offense is behind the chains all the time. And then you're 3rd and 6 with that offensive line and a quarterback who's new. It's rough. But still 7 completions. That leaves a lot to be desired. Where are the easy access throws, etc., moving the pocket differently, new formations? I still see some stubbornness with it. It's not as much as I would like. It's not terrible, but they're also working with somebody that we just don't know this. How well does he understand post-snap reads and all that stuff? Because everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's not like Dan Lanning and his staff didn't think about that. If you can't make some second-level throws, meaning behind the linebackers and stuff, everything gets suffocated. And Oregon's got the corners to suffocate you. And they did. So I'm guessing they don't have a single quarterback that's ready to make post-snap reads, which is a disaster. There's no fixing that. That's the only thing that really fixes it is time, which is the last thing that Wisconsin fans probably want to hear. But it's usually year 2 or 3 of a quarterback actually playing before they're good. And they're playing quarterback musical chairs. This is just bad on bad. So at least he's getting to play and try it. But if you don't see marked improvement between this game and the middle of the next one, Danny, maybe you got to do something different. Can't have 7 completions. That's never going to cut it.
And I think that's where Badger fans are at, man. I think Badger fans have grace for the fact that Hunter Simmons was a backup FCS quarterback last year. There's no expectation for him to go out and have a high level performance on the road against Oregon. But 1 for 13 at one point. I mean, listen, other teams have backup quarterbacks that have to play, Brian. Why is it so bad? And I think you hit on it, right? It's the combination of everything. It's the offensive line. It's the lack of weapons. It's the quarterback injuries. It's Jeff Grimes. We're just left flummoxed. And Brian, 3 weeks ago, he was even worse against Iowa. And then last week, he was 50% against Ohio State. And this week, it's 7-21. I mean, I think that's where Badger fans are again. Even if Carter's not ready, he's got to be better than a guy who's 1 of 13.
I don't disagree. Maybe they don't want him playing for some reason. Maybe his dad doesn't want him playing, let this season play out because all the stuff's going on. I have no idea. But 1 of 13 is not even 8%.
Oh, we know.
There's no way to say it. It's holy cow. It's just terrible.
He rallied to finish 7-21. It was a rally to finish 7-21. And again, I don't even put that. It's not his fault. He was a backup FCS quarterback last year, right? He's put in a spot that it's not on him. But gosh, it's got to. You can't. There's no world where you can continue doing that. So they have a bye week now. Then you play Washington. There's 4 games left. That magic 4, right? Could that be the spot where Carter Smith comes in and doesn't lose his red shirt? Or
that's possible. That's possible because even if he still wanted to leave, he gets his red shirt. I'd play him. I mean, he would at least get a package. That's how I look at it. I mean, I know Carter. He's a very smart kid. He may not look it, but he's really physically tough. You could run him a little bit. I don't know, but unless he's hurt, I don't know why he doesn't get a chance. It can't be worse than 7-21, Ryan. There's just no way, brother.
I agree. Please. They just got to make a change because it's so bad. I mean, Brian, this was a 21-7 game against Oregon with one of the worst quarterback performances of the season. Like, if you have even decent quarterback play, this is a ball game. This is a real ball game that you put Oregon in.
Well, it was a ball game. What was it? 0-0 with 2 minutes to go in the half or something like that. I can't remember what it was when I was flipping channels, but I'm like, what is going on here? Oregon just really can't push them off the line. By the way, I forget the kid's name, the big white defensive tackle for Wisconsin. I love that kid. He plays.
Yeah.
He is that guy. He's going to make a contract. He'll make a roster.
Yeah,
He'll make a roster.
Those young linebackers, Mason Posa, who you and we talked about.
Oh, we knew he was going to be good. That's a 3-and-out kid. And they're going to waste him or he's going to transfer. They better figure this out real quick or he ain't going to be in a Badger uniform. That kid's way too good to be put up with this crap. He's NFL player, period. I mean, it's amazing how much he's acclimated to the college game because linebacker, it's not quarterback, but for the defensive side of the ball because of the RPO game and all the stuff that goes on, it's super complex. For a first or second year player to look like he's been playing 20 years, I don't care. Like, he's a freshman, right? A true freshman? Or is he a redshirt freshman?
No, true freshman who did not enroll early because he was winning his 4th straight state wrestling title.
Yeah. He gets off blocks, but it's the mental stuff. Like, he sees things and then he beats guys to the spot. Then he uses his hands well because he's a wrestler. That's great. But he's already to the spot where the running back wants to be, and it's 2nd and 8. He'll take that every time. So, yeah, he's legit. So, if you don't root for anything else for the Badgers, root for the front 7. Like, that front 7 would play in the SEC. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're good. I agree. We're going to take a second here for our friends of the show. We're going to come back, talk coaching carousel, plus some of your questions for Brian. Some really good ones in here, including, is there even a point in getting verbal commitments anymore? That's coming up next on Locked On Badgers. But first, a quick second for our friends of the show. A quick second, as always, say thank you for tuning into Locked On Badgers. Today's episode brought to you by our incredible friends over at FanDuel. Listen, FanDuel is a great partner. NBA is kicked back off, and it is an incredible time to get started with that action. Any type of betting action, futures, parlays, teasers, spreads, plus live in-game betting, which you can then parlay up. In case, listen, there's been some games this year where Wisconsin's gotten out of it, but the live in-game betting can keep you engaged, keep you having fun with the action while that's happening. Plus, a great new offer, $5 bet for first-time listeners gets you $300 in bonus bets over at FanDuel. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com. Download the app today to get started. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of the Locked On Podcast Network and the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Be excited. Go get into the action with FanDuel.com. All right, Brian, we got questions for you. I mentioned on the Discord, hey, we're getting Brian on the show. Let me start here, though. I think this is a great one from Caroline. Just want to say Brian Smith, one of my favorite guests. Love the honest, objective takes.
Hey, man, I'm all about the honesty, and I know I probably tick off more people than I make happy in some ways, but it's just, there's no reason to lie. I knew things were going to go in the wrong direction, Wisconsin. I did not think they would go this bad, though, especially the 7 of 21. I blame Ryan for that. Somehow he put a hex on your Badgers, man. I don't know what it is.
It's probably true. So I like this question. I teased it. I'm going to go down and find it, but the question was, is there even really a point in getting verbal commitments anymore?
Absolutely. If you're getting a kid on campus, etc., that's how you get commitments. So the worst case scenario is they see your plays. Even if they decommit, maybe later on they're in the portal, they go back to you. You have to always be moving forward. That's it. I mean, what's the point if you're not? Recruiting is the lifeblood of every college football program. You have to be able to bring in guys one after another and expect to sell to Wisconsin. It's a beautiful town. It's a great school. They got some football tradition now. If they don't want to come, they don't want to come. If they got questions, at least you can answer them face to face. That's what visits are about and trying to get commitments. So, yeah, you have to be continuously recruiting. If not, they should fire him today. If you can't take commitments, then the coach shouldn't be there. That's simple as it gets.
Yeah, that was from Mr. October. Jack asks, with all the Power 4 vacancies, and we've seen them kind of fill up this season, could it end up being advantageous for Wisconsin to keep Fickell for another year so they don't have to compete with all of the other schools hiring candidates?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have to go and get a coach that fits you. Like, if I was Wisconsin, I'm just going to throw out a couple. I know I told you Bob Bostad at Indiana, he would be the guy that I would look at that's kind of off the radar outside of the Wisconsin tree. That's somebody that's a good coach. And I think he's probably number one or number two in terms of the coordinator hires around the country. Buster Faulkner at Georgia Tech. He's the OC quarterback coach. He is brilliant. No offense to Georgia Tech. They do not have anywhere near the talent of some other schools, and they out-scheme them. So there's different ways to do this.
Well, that's actually kind of Zach Ryan's question too. Future coaches, if we were to move on, you hit on a couple of them there. We talked about quarterbacks as well. Anybody else like that you think you look at and you're like, that guy would be a great fit at a Wisconsin type of school? Because Wisconsin type of school is different than other places. You have to find the right coach for the right spot.
I would also look at either one of the Indiana coordinators. I'd take either one of them. The defense coordinator is off the chain. That would be, I forget the guy's name, but he's Haynes or something. I can't remember, but that's a possible. Shanahan's the other one. Like, they would be great. I know this has come up, but a certain wide receiver coach in Columbus, Ohio, that's a possibility. I don't know if he's ready to run a program because he hasn't even run a MAC school yet, but that's a possibility. A lot of Midwest guys in that vein would be possible. And one just a little bit outside the realm, he's from Detroit originally. The DC at Tennessee is a Detroit guy. Last year, they were number one in the nation in run defense, and he's been an assistant forever. Being a Midwesterner, Detroit area, probably wouldn't be a bad guy.
Love it. Let's switch in here. We talked about Carter Smith, maybe the last 4 games. That would make sense. Mr. October, are we looking at the start of the craziest coaching carousel ever with all these coaches possibly taking their players to these new locations?
That part right there was a very smart part of it. The one we had a few years ago where Kelly started it when he went to LSU and all that stuff. That's a part of this gig. But this time you have Florida, you have Penn State, you have LSU. I'm told there's a really good chance NC State's going to open. Doran's going to step down. That's a decent job. Oak State's open. Oregon State's open. Colorado State's open. Wisconsin technically could, although you keep telling me they're not going to fire him. Don't blame me. Blame Ryan. Don't blame me.
Yeah. I think Fickell's going to be the guy in 26 with an easier schedule, a little more money. I'm just telling you.
Oh God! When they're 5-7 next year, remember this conversation.
We're still going to talk for sure. You and I are not going anywhere.
I know. Florida State's probably going to be open. So the players transferring parts where it gets wild. And this is where Wisconsin has a big chance to lose out, and it hurts them. I've talked about NIL on this show before. Look, it's really straightforward. Players want to get paid more than what schools want to give them. This is the same old management employee thing. They want to follow their coaches because recruits become players that like the coach. They'll follow them, but they're not taking pay cuts. So that's one of the reasons I keep bringing up assistants. I think it's easier to build and just do a very slow rebuild at Wisconsin. Most State would probably do that. Buster Faulkner would probably do that. So they've got to just cut it to the core of who could be there and do a long, slow rebuild because they're not going to NIL it like Florida State did a couple of years ago, or LSU spent $18 million on their portal this year. $18 million. And still didn't get anywhere. So, like, if I gave the total that I think Wisconsin needs to be really good next year, there would be people that would, if they're listening to this on audio somewhere, they would wreck their car. So I'm not going to give out that number. But at the same point, you can get enough guys there with the right coach to at least start. Your first goal is to make a bowl game next year. Is it likely? I don't think so with this staff, but if you hire the right staff, possibly. Year 2, you should, and then every year after year two, you really should. Yeah, they need to make a decision and make it happen quickly because I know that this isn't the end of the firings. There's some more coming. Trust me on this. There's some more coming, and it just is what it is.
Listen, same line of questioning, Mr. Steve-O. How serious are SEC schools about paying the buyouts, and how much money would they be willing to spend? Is there an upper limit for some of these schools?
Well, that's a booster thing. This is like a backroom meeting. That's what happened at LSU when Kelly got fired. Like, the governor of the state was in on the meeting because it's kind of ironic. LSU's in transition with their president. Like, the new president is supposed to be named this week. They don't even have somebody to make a call right now. So the governor's in on it. That's pretty wild. But, like, they're going to spend over $100 million. Over 100. Because Kelly's, it's over 6 years they got to pay. It's like $800K a month, which is insane. That's just the head coach. That doesn't count all the other assistants. That doesn't count the new people, doesn't count the back office. Like, it's insane. Don't forget, it's totality, not just the main guy. So Florida has the Bull Gator Club. That is just ridiculous money. So that's why they're going that route. But they only had to pay Billy like 21. So that's helpful. But some of these schools are willing to go upwards of $100 million over like 5 years or so. I don't know what Wisconsin's number is, but I'm guessing it's nowhere near that. So that's why I keep bringing up Buster Faulkner and coaches like that. It is what it is.
Big picture from a national standpoint, from a pressure standpoint, what do these firings do for Wisconsin in terms of pushing them in a direction, right? When they're seeing Franklin let go, Napier let go, obviously, we just talked about, like, you're seeing these massive buyouts paid out by schools that, quite frankly, James Franklin has been good every single year. Like, Penn State could very possibly end up regretting that decision. And then you have Wisconsin, who I just feel like it's going to put more and more pressure on this administration.
I'm glad you brought that out. I have a few predictions I'd like to make. The next head coach at Michigan State, I expect to be Brian Kelly. He coached in Michigan. They fired Jonathan Smith, not this year, but next year. I don't think he'll get fired this year. I think Kelly will sit out a year, maybe do TV. I could see him at Michigan State. And I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Kelly was in Wisconsin either, because the way his contract works, if he goes somewhere else, LSU doesn't have to pay him. They might even cut him a little extra to take a job. And he's got so much money now, it doesn't even matter. I could see something like that. Or one of these, it could be Franklin. Who knows? Franklin at Wisconsin, he'd win. You're not going to win a national title, but you'd win. Any of those kinds of guys, I could see it. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll take one more quick second here with the great Brian Smith. We're coming back with recruiting questions. Is there positivity to be gleaned from the fact that they've kept this class mostly together? Who are the most important players in it? That's coming up next on Locked On Badgers. But first, a quick second for our incredible friends of the show over at Gametime. As in, college football's back. It's been back for a while. NFL, NBA's back. College basketball's coming up. Gametime has you covered for all of this and more. If you want to get tickets, Brian, you and I have talked about Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Lambeau.
Yeah, I told my dad, I said, we're going.
We're going to get those tickets on Gametime.
I might be very happy with that, actually. That would work out very well.
We'll get pictures of the seats before we sit down. You can get last-minute flash deals on these tickets. It's the best ticketing app. You're going to get it emailed to you. It's fast. It's easy. There's no hidden fees. With the price you see on Gametime is literally the price you're going to pay at the end. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create the account, use code LOCKEDONCollege. That's LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. That's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go over on Gametime. Get the tickets to the in entertainment environments that you are going to remember for the rest of your life. Open that stuff up with Gametime. You will not regret it. It's a service both Brian and I use, and we're going to use it. Lambeau, Notre Dame, Wisconsin. Let's get it. All right, Brian, let's talk recruiting here. I got some recruiting questions for you, again, from the Discord. The first one is just what is the number one guy they can't lose right now? Papa Rob, this is the class that has Amari Latimer, Jaden Petit. You have Ryan Hopkins, the quarterback out at Mater Dei. Who can't they lose?
I would guess quarterback first. Latimer is the best player in the class, and I don't think they're going to keep him. That would be my guess, but quarterback is important. Is he taking visits? I have not heard. I haven't looked into it, but like that's got a lot of repercussions. He's a Mater Dei kid. It's a top 5 national program. It's a quarterback that's underrated. How that happened at Mater Dei, I'm not sure. It's so weird. And he's a guy that's probably gotten to know a lot of the other offensive and defensive recruits. If he leaves your class, the repercussions will be felt in terms of recruiting California, in terms of keeping this class together. And he's a quarterback. By the way, I don't know if you noticed this, Ryan, but Wisconsin needs more of those right now. Yeah. So let's keep him in the class. That would be my advice.
I love it. Question here from Family Man Ty. At what point in the season do you pro sports is the point where you start playing younger players and you build for the future. College is different, right? You don't get a draft pick for losing, and players can leave. Is there a point in the season where you pivot to the youth and just say, we're going to build for the future?
It doesn't work that way for the following reason. Your seniors will revolt, and they will be boisterous about it. So it's everybody always says that, but when you get rid of guys, essentially, they also go back to their hometowns and their schools and say they screwed me over. Then you're not recruiting those schools again. So it's awkward. It's never going to happen because of that. Secondarily, these coaches are trying to win now. You're looking at it from a Wisconsin logo standpoint. They're looking at it from I wear the logo standpoint, talking about the coaches. They're going to play the guy they think can win. And that's just the way it is. There's no fixing the problem that Wisconsin's in quickly.
Right here. Have you ever, this is from Deputy Jim Leonard for head coach. Would you ever take on a GM role at a program? Like think of maybe what Barton Simmons has done at Vanderbilt. Is there anything you've ever been approached or consulted that you'd be willing to talk about, or has that thought ever crossed your head?
I've had a discussion with not a D1 school, but lower, and this was before NIL. Let me be very clear. Urban Meyer talked about this recently on his podcast. Some school randomly contacted him and said, would you like to be a GM? And I know Urban and we think alike in this regard. He said, well, what would I do? And he said, well, it'd be the NIL or getting contract. And he goes, why in the hell would I want to do that? That's terrible. And I agree. No, I want no part of that. I would want to be the back office recruiting guy. I bring the players in, you figure out the money. I don't want any part of the contracts. So yeah, there's a difference between the GM role and the recruiting role. And they go hand in hand, but there's still that's like New York to LA. It's still a long way apart.
Let's see. Next question here. Could money just fix this? Is there hope for Fickell fixing this mess, in his opinion, by just adding more money into NIL, as McIntosh suggested? So Chris McIntosh, I mean, we're super in the weeds as Wisconsin fans, right? So you may not have seen this, but he sent a letter out.
I read it. It was
full of confidence, more money. I thought it was a bunch of just lip service word salad. I also thought it was tone deaf. But let's say they are able just to push more cash into this, because I think it is fair to point out that Luke Fickell's not playing with the same bag that other schools in the Big Ten are playing with. That is actually a true statement. Could more money just fix this? More money and maybe quarterback health.
Define the word fix.
Raise the floor back to where Wisconsin was.
What do you think? What's the bottom end winning season for fix? 7?
Yeah, I think it's 7.
I think that's fair. With this schedule, that's hard. So I don't know what their NIL total is right now, but I'm going to guess that it needs to be doubled. That's just not going to happen. And to be clear, every fan needs to know exactly what that total is. Not from a voice, from a line-by-line item, and they're not going to do that either because they want you donating. They need to prove that they're doubling the budget, and they're not going to do that anyway. So I don't buy it at all. I think it's garbage.
A2 Badger. Probability that Wisconsin actually lands all 3 of Latimer, Petit, and Hopkins.
The chances of me having long hair on the next time I come on Locked On Badgers.
I'll send you some stuff. It's some shampoo. Like it's thickening.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work, man.
So you're going to say that's a low chance on that one.
Yeah, very.
Low chance there. Any thoughts? So this is a Badger 27 kid. Jordan Reed, receiver, coaches after him. Trey Moore, 2027 4-star recruit out of Texas. Maybe just quick thoughts on him and any chance Wisconsin could get him.
Well, I mean, they got to start doing something at quarterback or no, but he's 6'3", 200 pounds. He's what every school is looking for. I expect him to be 35, 40 offer kid. So if they want him, they need to finish this year a lot better than I expect, because otherwise, no.
I think that was all of our questions here. I wanted to ask you a big picture question, and this is kind of so the Badgers this year brought in Billy Edwards. Billy Edwards got hurt in camp, banged up his knee again opening week. I think they tried to rush him back a little early from Maryland. He got banged up again. He's been out since then. 4 games left. From a business decision standpoint, I'm not going to speculate at all. I don't know how hurt he is or not hurt. Would it even make sense for him to come back and lose this year?
No, because there's not enough weapons around him, including the offensive line, for that to work. I expect him to go play, even if it's FCS, somewhere else next year. Why would you come back to this? That's my guess. He could come back next year if they did what McIntosh said and invested. But again, I need to see it. And if you're Billy's parents or his agent, they're going to say, we need to see this first. Otherwise, no. And that's going to cause it. Like, from what I've heard about Fickell, he's not the easiest guy to deal with. So I have a feeling that's not going to go very well. Now, if he just wants to stay and come play next year, good for him, but I would be surprised.
So the push, and I get that perspective. I actually really get the business side of it from Billy's standpoint. You know, you want to go somewhere that has a more functional offensive line. You have a year to heal up, put better film on, don't lose this year. But the counter argument is, man, we paid you all this money to come here. If you're healthy, is there any loyalty to the team to just go out and play? Is that aspect of football with NIL and the transfer portal gone at this point?
That's a great question. My guess, the retort to that would be, hey, you didn't give me what I was supposed to get up front. The offense is a disaster. So this is two-way street. At least that's what his agent's going to say. I don't know Billy, but I mean, there might be some loyalty, but like after seeing this, would you want to play in it? I mean, you're a Badger fan. You're the biggest Badger fan I know.
Trap them up. Let's go. I'll get out there. Listen, I can probably go 1 of 13. Like, give me a couple easy routes. I can throw a 10-yard out.
That's the problem we have.
I will not purport to be better than Hunter Simmons. That is a falsehood.
Unbelievable, isn't it? It's just like
it's so bad, man.
1 of 13 to start. I didn't know it was that bad. I don't remember that stat. It's so bad.
It was 1 of 13 to start. Like I said, he rallied to get to up to 7.
Oh, it's terrible.
Last comment here. I think this is a good one to end on. This is from Jim Leonard, Deputy Jim Leonard for head coach. Just tell him I said Brian Smith don't miss.
Yeah.
It's another fan of yours in the Discord, man.
Well, I tell it like it is. I know I don't make everybody happy, but I'm not going to lead anybody astray. This is going to be a very slow rebuild. So it just is what it is. And, basketball season's here. Enjoy it. And they're good at Wisconsin's good at a lot of stuff. It's just not football right now. So.
Basketball is going to be fun this year. So I'm excited for that. I'll tell you this, I'll wrap up here and you tell me if I'm crazy. I am a little excited about the last 4 games this season. I think that Oregon effort was about as strong as they played this year, considering the circumstances. Yeah. Now you have a bye week. I got to think, man, that in my heart of hearts, I got to think you come out of that bye week and you're playing either Daniel Neal or Carter Smith. I think you have to make a switch. I think if the defense can play like that over the last 4 games and you get just not horrific quarterback play, we could get a couple good games out of this.
I still don't expect them to win any games, but yeah, when your defense plays like that, I mean, you've got to at least be in the – I mean, they just held Oregon on their home field to 21. That's pretty good. Secondarily, at some point, you've got to hit a big play on a defensive touchdown or something. If they could get a lead in the first half, I don't care how they get it. Sure, because that defense is legit. So maybe there'll be something like that happens, and let's hope so for Wisconsin, because I mean they deserve. Those kids play hard. They're just not very good on offense. So maybe if they can hit one big passing by a slant or something, go 70 yards for a touchdown to Vinny, something like that. Anything's possible.
Love it. He is Brian Smith, Locked On Portal. Go check out his work as well. I'm Ryan Herring's Locked On Badgers. Thank you for tuning in to this BS report of a little bit of optimism and plus recruiting talk, coaching carousel, all of that. Brian, thank you so much as always for tuning in, man.
Absolutely.
The people in the Discord will be happy. On Wisconsin, and we will definitely talk tomorrow.